happy to turn it over to Melissa, who's going to introduce today's panel and get you guys started today.
Thanks, Rosina. And I think you're going to see some slide shares, but welcome everybody for taking time to attend today's webinar, why and how to get on the ballot. And the ballot we're talking about is the summer election that'll be occurring, where we have leadership positions at the branch, section, and national level that you'll get to elect candidates, that you'll see candidates and elect those positions. So why? So today you're going to hear from a slate of panelists, why leading is important for yourself in ESA. And how. We're going to go through the mechanics on how you actually get on the ballot itself. Today, I'm one of your 4 moderators. My name is Melissa Siebert. I should have introduced myself. I'm currently the PI section governing board rep and also serve on the ESA Leadership Development Committee. Just a little bit of housekeeping. Again, this will be recorded, this session. It will also be posted on the ESA website if you want to go back and listen, or tell your friends and colleagues to go back and listen. Also, really utilize the Q&A box. So we have an awesome slate of panelists. Please feed your questions in. We're going to monitor those and get those answered before you do session. So please use the Q&A. From there, I'm going to hand off to my other moderator, Carrie Mintier. Go ahead, Carrie.
Hey, good morning or afternoon if you're on the East Coast like I am. Like Melissa said, I'm Carrie Mintier, and I'm also a member of the ESA Leadership Development Committee, and I'm happy to be here to discuss with you about why you should consider leading with ESA. I know many of you all are here probably a little hesitant to get involved, and we're happy that you're here to learn more about it. So we're here to help kind of lessen some of those fears and explain some of the benefits on why it's a great idea to become a leader in ESA. So this is a slide on just a few of the reasons. There's many personal and professional benefits. You can you get new networks, new opportunities. That's one of my favorite things about having volunteered at ESA, is I get to meet so many new people that I would not have met otherwise. You also get to better understand the inner workings of our society. And so you can really influence ESA programs and meetings. We also need a lot of new people to get involved so that our leadership matches the diversity of our membership. That's very important. That's one of our big focuses with ESA. And it ensures that ESA and the discipline is strong for the future. The more of us that get involved, the more we can kind of push that in that direction. So I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed getting really involved with ESA, and I'll continue to do it into the future. So I think we've got a poll that's going to come up for you all next. And so it's a poll that you all can answer. It should be a poll that pops up right now. Okay, so on average, how many people run for each elected ESA position? So go ahead and you can put in your answer now. We'll give you a little while to be able to answer that question. We've got them coming in slowly. We've got a couple more people that's left to go. Nobody will know what you put in, so don't be afraid to guess here. So it doesn't look like we're getting any more. All right, so we've got about 38% think 1 to 2. Well, that is the correct answer. Only 1 to 2 people are usually on the ballot for those elected ESA positions, and so not a large ticket at all. Definitely more people would be much better to get kind of the diversity and get more people involved. I think now we're going to go over to Daniela.
Thank you, Carrie. I think you still have the poll
Okay, is it gone now, Daniela?
It's still showing up the poll. I think someone just needs to close the window, the little box.
It could be just on your side, maybe Danielle, maybe just minimize it. I guess, is the poll done, Rosina?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Sorry for that. Well,
Yeah.
thank you. So my name is Daniela Pizzini. I'm a second year PhD student here at North Carolina State University. I'm currently living in Raleigh. And also I'm a member of the ESA Leadership Development Committee. As Melissa talked in the beginning, this webinar is very important so people from all different status within ESA can understand why it's important to be involved. And I can say that because I think I'm the only the only student member of this committee. It so far has been a great experience. So today I want to start talking about what is currently available, which positions are available, and like a little bit more information of them. So for the national section, for the national election, we have the ESA Vice President-elect currently available, and that's a 4-year term commitment, and which progresses from the Vice President-elect to Vice President, President, and past President. Can you go to the next slide, please? So for the section election, there are actually many positions available, which include the medical, urban, and veterinary entomology section, the physiology, biochemistry, and toxicology section, the plant insect ecosystems section, and also the systematics, evolution, and biodiversity section. So starting with the MOVE section, we have right now the Vice President-elect position available. For the PBT section, we have the positions of Vice President-elect, early career professional representative to the Governing Council position, the Vice President, and then for the PI section, we have the Vice President-elect, the representative to the ESA Governing Board, the early career professional representative to the Governing Council, and also the representative to the Publications Council. And finally, for the CIS-EB section, we have the Vice President-elect, the ECP, which is early career professional representative to the Governing Council, and also the student representative to the Governing Council positions available. So for all these section elections, the Vice President positions are a 4-year term commitment, which progress from Vice President-elect to Vice President, President, and then past President. And also for all these section elections, the representative to the Governing Board is a 3-year term with opportunity for re-election. The ECP, which is the early career professional representatives to the Governing Council, is a single term position that means no re-election, but the years differ by section. For the PI and the CIS-EB, it's a 3-year term, and for the PBT is a 2-year term. For the student rep to the Governing Council, it's a 3-year term position and also just a single term. And finally, for the Publications Council, it is a 4-year term of commitment with opportunity for re-election for a 2nd term. Next slide, please. And finally, we also have a few positions available for the branch, for different branches. And those branches are the Eastern branch, the International branch, and also the Southwestern branch. For the Eastern branch, the position available is the ESA Governing Board. For the International branch, the positions available are for President-elect, representatives to the ESA Governing Board, early career professional member at large, and for the Southwestern branch, the position available is for the ESA Governing Board. The branch President-elect is a 3-year term, which progress from President-elect, President, and past President. The Governing Board positions are a 3-year term of commitment with opportunity for re-election. And the early career representatives to the Governing Council for the international branch are a single term and also a 3-year commitment. So this is a summary, overall summary of what is available, but I'm really sure you want to learn what these positions actually mean, what is the commitment. So if you want to know more details about what it means to be in these positions and also more details on the terms, I'm going to be pasting a link of the ESA website in the chat box so you can navigate through that.
Thanks, Daniela. Appreciate you running through all what's available. So the very next thing we want to go over with the attendees is, what's the process to get on the ballot? So let's walk through this, and it's really pretty simple. So the first step one, well, first let me direct your attention to the website below. There's an election and nomination information page on the ESA website. And there's a big box in the middle that says submit a nomination for an ESA volunteer leadership position. That's the button you're going to press, and then it'll proceed to these steps. So step one, you'll need to have a headshot or a photo of yourself to submit. Then there's a section that you're going to write in some different things. And this is new this year, the way it's formatted. So it's 750 characters, which is pretty short, just a few sentences for each of 3 sections, which includes a bio sketch, a description of your past volunteer or service activities, and then finally a statement of why you're interested in the particular position you're going for. If you're going for the ESA Vice President-elect candidate position, there is an extra a box that you'll need to complete, and that's a statement of a 250-word maximum statement giving your view of critical issues facing the society and your vision for the future. Step 2, and this does just pertain to the ESA Vice President-elect position, is that there's a drop-down box for where you'll select what section or branch endorsed your candidacy. So that'll need to be selected. And there is a footnote here that if it's not a branch or section, that it could be a minimum of 10 ESA members. Step 3 is to get all of this submitted on the website by June 1. And do that by the date. Now, June 2, there's another deadline, step 4. So pretty much within 24 hours of when you submit your candidacy, there will be a professional conduct disclosure form sent back to you on email. And so you'll need to sign off on that and check that you meet those, you agree to that disclosure form. And that's due by June 1st. So again, a very easy 4-step process. Please go to the website. And again, if you have any questions whatsoever, reach out to us here, ask questions, or offline as well to our ESA staff. So with that, I think, Daniela, I think you're next moderating this section.
Yeah, so today is my pleasure to present our today's lectures, guest leaders, beginning with Adekunle Adesanya. Next, we'll have Salkatua Bondagogwa Mafla. Then we are going to have Adam Holt, and finally Rebecca Smith Jeffries. They will be talking about their career highlights and also about their experiences within ESA positions as volunteers. If you have any questions to our guest leaders, please feel free to just type in your chat box. They will be responding, answer to your questions as we go through the webinar. So let's start with Adekunle Adesanya. Adekunle, please introduce yourself.
Hi, hello everyone. It's good to join you. Thanks for coming to this webinar. As mentioned, my name is Adekunle Adesanya, but I simply go by Kunle. I'm currently a field scientist with Corteva Agri-Science here in the coastal California region. And at the ESA level, I'm currently serving as the ECP representative of the PPT Governing Council. And I'm coming to the end of my 2-year tenure. So I hope the next person to fill that position is probably an attendant on this webinar. Prior to that, I have served at this ESA rep on the Student Affairs Council for the Pacific branch. And I've also served in the Ninian Games Committee back when I was in the Eastern branch. So I think serving on ESA has really, really, expand my ability as a leader. So it's definitely, I will encourage anyone who's interested to take up the challenge, and it's worth the investment.
Thank you, Adekunle. It looks like we don't have any questions so far, so we can go to our next guest leader, which is Salkatua Bondogok Gawa Mafla.
Hi everyone, I'm Salkatua. I'm a PhD candidate at Rutgers University. I'm working with Dr. Jessica Ware in her lab at the American Museum of Natural History studying Odonata. And I am the student representative to the governing board, which means I also serve on the Student Affairs Committee, and I'm also the DNI rep for CCB. I'm new to leadership. This is my first year, first portion of the year serving for ESA. It's been a really great experience. I look forward to helping and look forward to talking everyone through this webinar.
Thank you, Salkatua. Our next guest leader is Adam Holt.
Hi everybody, how's it going? Thank you so much for being here, and kind of like everybody else, this is my first year serving on the ESA Leadership Development Committee. So I have been in the industry a little over 20 years, the pest control industry, both actual pest control as well as mosquito control. I've worked for the Department of Agriculture. I've done a little bit of pest control software. So I love kind of all bugs, haha. So I love the real bugs and the software bugs. And went to University of Florida, kind of have just been, a part of all of this. And, I'm super excited to continue to be a part of this. And yeah, as you can see, I've kind of dabbled in everything again, from pest control to even some cannabis pest control, which has been a really cool adventure, working on biological control organisms to, control all the bad bugs on the cannabis pest. And so I am currently a part of PCOC, which has been, I think, a really big part of helping me get more involved in multiple organizations. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Adam. And our final guest leader is Rebecca Schmidt-Jeffers.
Hi, folks. I'm going to apologize for any weird noises. I am in an orchard today. I do tree fruit biological control research with USDA ARS in Washington State, where I am a research entomologist. And we are out here deploying lacewings today for some aphid control in a commercial organic orchard. In terms of my background with the society, I got involved in ESA pretty early in my third year of grad school, and I have not quit it ever since. So I've had a lot of different roles, first on the Student Affairs Committee, and then kind of moving into the Early Career Professional Committee, organizing symposia, working as a subject editor, and being active in the branch. And then most recently, I've been serving first as secretary and now as part of the presidential line for the PI section. So I'm currently the PI section vice president. And then I added a little bit about my personal interests, and I enjoy anything involving board games and or being outside and or playing with my pets.
Thank you, Rebecca.
I think, Carrie, you were going to come back and help us with another poll question.
I am. I didn't know if we were going to have any questions come in for our panelists, but we'll go and go to the poll question. So the poll question for our audience is, what concerns are preventing you from seeking an ESA office? So I don't have enough time to serve. I do not believe I have enough leadership experience. I do not believe I am far enough along in my professional career for people to know me and therefore be elected. I do not understand the nomination process. My workplace does not encourage or value involvement, or some other reason. I'm not sure if you can select more than one, or if we're, oh, it looks like we closed polling. Are we back open again?
These
Okay.
poll questions are going to be really great for us, because then we can help answer through our panelists some of these questions and concerns we do have.
Oh, I'm not seeing what people have put in. Okay. Looks like maybe it got closed out and opened again. So if it's open again for you and you can vote again. So we have about 11 of 17 right now. So we're getting up there. 12 of 17. Again, we don't know what you voted for, so feel free to put in your answer. Looks like we've got, I don't have enough time to serve, and I do not believe I'm far enough along in my professional career for people to know me. I know that I don't have enough time to serve was actually a big one for me. As a student, I was super involved, and then I landed a permanent position and thought that I didn't have enough time, and actually saw this last year's version of this webinar and decided to get back in. So yeah, so those are the kind of the top two. We do have, for some other reasons, going on here, but mostly I'm not far enough along in my professional career for people to know me, and I don't have enough time to serve is kind of our top. And so I don't know if we wanted to maybe go to our panelists on some of these as far as their thoughts. Rebecca, or you've been involved for a long time at this point.
Yeah, no, and it can be tricky because you do have to do a lot of good time management. I'd say it's really important to use that contact list that was provided earlier and ask the person in the role currently what their time commitment is like, and ask for tips on organizing yourself. But I think a lot of times we overestimate how much things will take if we're efficient with our time. So I think being organized is important, but I think it's definitely doable to have one or even multiple roles in ESA. And there are committees too that don't take up as much time. So you can always try one of those first and find something with a lower time commitment and see how that feels.
What about some of our other panelists that are maybe newer to the volunteering or the holding elective office version?
Are we still focusing on the I do not have enough time to serve question?
Or that you don't think that enough people know you? I mean, either one.
You know, I was kind of the one that was kind of speaking to me was that I do not believe I'm far enough along in my professional career for people to know me. You know, I think there's no time like the present to kind of put yourself out there. I mean, I feel like I'm always constantly seeing these, different people on TikTok and social media platforms that like part of moving forward is experiencing failure, right? And I mean, failure might not be the right term, but, not always maybe getting elected into a position doesn't mean you can't still be successful. I mean, I ran for the Southeastern branch rep when I was in Florida, and I didn't do enough campaigning. Therefore, I wasn't networking enough, and therefore I didn't get elected. And that was on me, right? Because I didn't put forth the effort to get to where I wanted to be. And so part of my big motto is just to never give up. I try to tell people, I'm like, I had to take the GRE 3 times to get into grad school. I had to apply to grad school 3 times to get in. My secret number is 3 for some reason. And so, I think that whole I'm not far enough in your career is, for me, I would definitely encourage people to try to get involved even now, because you never know who you're going to meet and where the networking is going to take you.
Yeah, can I chip in on that? Yeah, when it comes to not being known, just starting, like, based on my experience, I got involved with ESA. I got nominated by a graduate student colleague. I just said, hey, Kunle, I think you'll be fitting for this position. So when I started networking, I started with my local network, like grad students within WSU, and then to the branch level. And then I'm serving in the section. So it's just stepwise, like just start from where you are. And that's the beautiful thing about ESA. It's just there are so many positions, like you could start from your local branch or to in your section, then to the general ESA. So my take home advice would be start from where you are. Yeah, that always helps.
So one quick person I want to introduce real quickly. We have one more moderator that's going to help us facilitate some of this Q&A. Alicia Bray is now with us. Alicia, if you want to just introduce yourself quickly, and then we'll get you to even help us continue to help facilitate questions with our panelists.
Absolutely. Welcome. I'm actually an associate professor at Central Connecticut State University. For some reason, the system won't let me turn on my video, so that's okay. The panelists are far more important than me. So I'm very glad that you're able to focus on them. So I'm going to be trying to lead the question answer session to make sure that all of your questions are answered, if that's all right. One of the questions that came into the chat is, if you have been a 34-year career person, but always moving from different assignments in the military and civil service, how would you go about getting more involved now to be known as an elected position in ESA? Are there steps to consider? So maybe one of our panelists that has moved jobs a couple of times might be the best person to answer that question.
And I'll pick on Rebecca. I know she's had a couple different positions. I don't know, Rebecca, you want to take a stab?
In the last, 5 years, 3 different positions. Yeah. So I think for me, when I was a postdoc, knowing that for sure that I wasn't going to be there permanently, I was strategic in the offices and appointments that I sought, and went more for the section level, because your section stays with you and doesn't change unless you completely change career directions. So I thought that was kind of a good move to do. And that's kind of where I would start. But I would also say, like, that doesn't keep you from being involved in your branch, just maybe keeping it more to short term, like 1 year at a time commitments, as opposed to long term, since you're going to be moving around a lot. But we always need help at the national meeting. So if you're going to be attending the national meeting, that's another good one, since that's kind of a guarantee every year that meeting is going to be available and be probably not where you are located. Hopefully that's helpful.
Alicia, I think you're on mute.
I got the video to work, but not the mute. Sorry. So another question that came in is, what are the duties of an elected person? And Daniela actually did respond to that in the chat a little bit, that it really depends on the position itself, and what the duties are, and it varies by position. So the descriptions are on the ESA website. And most importantly, on the list that we provided, it does actually have the person that's currently holding that position. So if you actually do want some great concrete information on what they've done within their term, that is a fantastic resource to be able to reach out to. So excellent question. Thank you. Does anyone else want to add to that response on what a particular position, if you've held a position, or since all of you have held a position, do you have one that like struck like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I did that? So Kunle, I'm just picking on people now.
Yeah, just start by volunteering. Like I could recollect right when I came to the US in 2013 and I started attending ESA meetings from the branch level to the national meetings. I don't miss an opportunity to serve as a volunteer at the, uploading presentations for people at ESA, registration desk. That was just, I was just doing that. And when it came to, vying for a position, it was just, I had established, a lot of relationship, and it was easy to connect with people like, hey, I think I'm vying for this position. Are you going to cast your vote for me? So I would say just start by volunteering. If you don't know where to start, then you can take it up from there.
So another question that came in was that someone has been highly involved as a graduate student in ESA and branch leadership, but since they've graduated, they're having a hard time marketing that experience as professional enough to run for a leadership position as an ECP. and they're asking for any advice on how to market these skills. And maybe if I can ask Salkwatua to address that, since she's made that transition.
I actually haven't, because I'm the student rep. So I haven't made it from not even to ECP yet. But I've been working hand in hand with Carly Trubel on the governing board and for CCB. And it seems like there is a lot of opportunity for ECPs. If Alex, that's what you're hoping to get into, I would suggest reaching out to Carly. She's super enthusiastic, always supportive. We can connect you after. And I think there might be more opportunities for ECP in the coming elections. So maybe let's connect after this.
What I would mention, at least from my point of view, is you don't necessarily, yes, you are a student rep, but all of the leadership skills that you're acquiring as a student rep is leadership skills. So you don't necessarily have to change your marketing strategy. You have developed those professional skills. It just happened to be in your graduate program. So you don't necessarily have to limit the marketing potential from the experience that you've gotten in grad school. I don't know if Adam or Rebecca have anything more to add.
I can I guess maybe not like to answer the question, but to say I definitely sympathize with it, because I do think there are some more traditional people that see like higher level offices that aren't specifically geared towards students or ECPs as a thing you don't do until you're 10, 15, 20, 30 years into your career. And so that might just be something that we need to think about, like within the larger society as a cultural shift. If somebody's got the leadership experience already, regardless of how old they are or how long they've been in their career, like give them a shot and really promote that ability, not just the fact that somebody's been around for a certain amount of time, therefore they should be president of something.
Yeah, and I was just going to add, that maybe even, I know for me personally, getting involved in other organizations, outside of ESA have helped to develop relationships that have helped me to get even more involved in ESA, right? So like PCOC, Pest Control Operators of California, I've been getting super involved in that. I mean, I've been getting involved with people like the Pest Posse out here in California and doing, kind of YouTube interviews and just getting more involved in social media. That's, I think, helped me to branch out and get more involved in ESA as well.
So we do have a fantastic question coming in. Are there any benefits or outcomes from leadership that you didn't expect, but which were beneficial as a consequence of your service, i.e. other opportunities, jobs or leads, networks, research, collaborations, etc.? So can we start with Adam?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think for me, the biggest benefit, thus far has just been the networking aspect. I don't know if any, potential career opportunities have, derived from my involvement yet, but I can definitely say that I think the more involved you are and the more networking you do, the more opportunities you're going to see as a result from that. So I think it can never hurt. And I don't know, for me, I know that getting involved and, like I said, networking has been huge for me just in general to be able to expand my, network of experts in the industry, as well as just meeting a bunch of great people. And so, but that end, I guess the end result would be I have not seen any potential career opportunities from it yet.
Yeah, well, why don't we hear from others on that same question as well? That'd be great.
Yeah. Kunle, can we hear from you?
Yeah, I mean, when I joined PBT as the ECP rep, I was just starting a postdoc, and the plan was always, to focus to stay in academia. But when I started building my network within the PBT as a community, I was working with people who were not in academia, working in industry, government, and that just created a whole shift in my in my attention into what job opportunities I want to explore, and it just worked out where that I was able to transition easily from academia to industry. So serving, expand your network. If you want to build, I was able to build new mentoring network outside of my traditional academia mentoring relationship. So it's, yeah, I don't, it just pays off, as you keep building those networks from one role you are serving in, and it works out. Yeah, it has really benefited my network credibility, and I would challenge anyone to come on board. But I keep saying, start from where you are. That is the way to build it up.
Rebecca, did you have anything to add on that?
Yeah, I would say that I feel like a lot of the two permanent positions that I've held have both been offered in part because people knew me through ESA, and like there's that name recognition. I know this person, I know that they can be organized and that they have a skill set that, translates into lab leadership because they're organized and capable of running a team. I will also say that I think it's gone both ways. I had a grant group that I was leading, and I got offered a program chair position for ESA because one of my collaborators said, "Oh, you did a really good job organizing that grant, so you should be my program chair when I'm president." I was like, sure. So I think it's one of those things that feeds off itself, and it's a good way to show that you're collegial and that you've got leadership skills. And people remember that when they're on your panels, and people talk. So even if it's somebody that's not directly involved in hiring you, maybe they're a colleague or a friend, and they'll say, yeah, this person, I know that they have the skills necessary to do a leadership position in research or teaching or whatever you're interested in.
And finally, Soko too, I think that this is probably one of the most important questions that we've had. So I want to make sure that you have an opportunity to talk about it from your perspective as a student, the unexpected benefits.
Yeah, I'll echo what everyone has said, but particularly as a student, increasing and expanding the network has been really helpful for me in terms of expanding your mentoring base as well. So I've heard really great things. People along the way have said that your advisor can't be your end all be all as your mentor. And as much as I love my advisor, it's been nice to have other mentors to bring other people into my network that I can bounce ideas off of. And in terms of a lot of the work that we do to diversify entomology and biology as a whole, working with people who are like-minded, who are progressive in that way, and that you can turn to for things that are within ESA and outside of ESA has been something that's been super heartwarming. When you're doing DE&I work, sometimes you might feel like a lone wolf, but in ESA, I feel like this is one of the most progressive societies where people are not just talking about diversifying, but they're trying to do things to move the society forward. And that's been a really beautiful thing that I've experienced here in ESA.
Do any of the moderators have anything to add on that? Melissa, Daniela?
Yeah, I can, echo a lot of the things that have been said, maybe a couple different things. One, I think I have a whole new view of the society and how it's run. And, we all show up to meetings or we're using a journal, and we just think these things just happen. And I think through just starting as small volunteer positions, you start learning more about the inner workings, what it really takes. And it takes all of us working with the staff and in our own committees and everything to make this society go. And I think when I started seeing what it really takes, it's all of us making this a great society. I want to do more as much as I really could and can. So I think it provided me a whole new view that I didn't have before I started volunteering of what it takes to make this a great society. The other thing for me is it makes me, I believe, a more well-rounded scientist. If I just did my Corteva job every day, I might have a very singular view of things and just doing my own work, whatever I do for Corteva. But now I'm working with people here on this call, so many people learning about their pest problems. Rebecca, I'm learning about what she's doing with her biocontrol agents and things. And it just makes me a whole more well-rounded scientist than I think I would ever have been if I wasn't working here with ESA colleagues. How about you, Daniela?
Yeah, really second. I think as a student, you know, like when you mentioned like knowing the inner structure of ESA, because before getting to this position, I was like really fitting into that category. I don't think I have experience enough, you know, to get in a leadership position, or people don't know me. And I think as I'm in this position right now, I'm more I have built like some more self-confidence, so I can actually nominate for other positions. And I actually, right now, I know what those other positions mean and what is available out there. Because before, I think it was just so blurry. I didn't have, you know, a clear vision of the ESA, like so many opportunities ESA have. And I used to just, you know, go to conferences and use ESA journals. And now I feel like I know about this whole world within ESA. And I think besides that, really is the creating networks, really like Melissa said, knowing different people in different, totally different sections. Besides, I'm in the PI section, but creating networks, I think that's the most, I think, the benefit for me.
Excellent. Now, leading to another question, if you're looking back for the panelists, if you're looking back at what experience do you believe helped you become elected? Or consider if you weren't elected, what did you learn from that? And I think I'm going to start with Adam, because he already touched on this a little bit earlier, that it's not necessarily bad to put yourself out there and not get it, because you can use it as a reflection. So Adam, can you
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess going back in time, you know, I think I ran for a seat as a Southeast rep branch back in 2011 when I first started with Terminex as a regional technical director, you know, thinking, all right, cool, I should be able to like land this in the bag. This shouldn't be an issue. But of course, the person I was running against, I think had been in the seat for like X number of years, you know what I mean? So it was just, I kind of felt like I didn't even stand a chance, but I was going to give it a try. And so I put myself out there and I campaigned as much as I could. But even at that time, I still wasn't, I think, as known in the industry as I am now. And so for me, that was just a Kickstarter to be like, all right, we're going to do this. We're going to continue to get involved and stay involved. And so even from that point on, I was like, I decided to go ahead and try to, I can't remember who it was at the time. I think it was Chris Stelzik at the time. So I emailed him and I was like, I want to be involved. What committees can I be involved in? What are the opportunities? And so he responded back and he was like, hey, I got this PMC audit committee. Do you like doing that? And I was like, sure, let's do it. I didn't know what it was, but I was like, I'll do whatever it is. So I got involved, got on the committee, and it was super cool experience. Got to meet a bunch of people. They sent me some Excel sheets. I audit some stuff because I love Excel sheets, and, you know, did that for 3 years. And, you know, I think from there, it kind of just proved to me that, you know, you can't give up, right? So giving up was an option for me to stay involved. And I knew that being involved would at some point lead me to where I am now, because everything happens for a reason and timing is everything. And so, you know, I got out here to California about 1.5 years ago, because I don't know anybody who knows my background, but I've lived in 4 states in the past 4 years. So I went from Florida to Colorado to Michigan to California, bam, like this whole thing back and forth. And so, but being in California now for 1.5 years and getting really involved in PCOC, and honestly, it was the networking with PCOC that got me to here, because I met a lady named Sylvia Kinmer, who I became pretty good friends with. And I think she just kind of helped me even get more involved in ESA and being a part of this committee. So.
And did anyone feel that encounter any challenges while you were running for these positions? So one of them, Adam already touched on, the exposure, trying to run for positions. Can you guys think of any other challenges that you experienced?
I guess I can speak to some challenges I've heard other colleagues have experienced. So I think we're moving away from this, and I'm glad for that. But there's still, and especially at the branch level, the nomination process for positions can be a little bit foggy, and sometimes is difficult because it's during like the executive committee meeting that's super early in the morning at some branches. In some cases, the nominations committee like has a full list of nominees and whittles it down to 2 and then lets the membership vote. So I think there's some internal structure, especially at the branch level, that can make it difficult for people without a lot of name recognition, but have a lot of like willingness to serve, to participate. And then I guess I have to end with a positive message is I know for the PI section, we're particularly trying to, when we have a lot of interest in these offices, just in part because we're such a big section, making sure we reach out to people who aren't elected and letting them know what other opportunities are available and coming up, and to say, don't hesitate to ask, like, what can I do in the future? Because I mean, that willingness is very much appreciated and we remember it.
Were there anyone else that had challenges that they were speaking of? I mean, one of the things that if you are coming up with challenges is, first off, don't be shy. Just go on out there and just try to get what you want. So you have to be willing to fail to succeed. So I think that that's one of the things that, I mean, I have learned throughout my career that you just have to be okay with the no answer. But if you don't ask, if you don't put yourself out there, you're never going to achieve the quality of the career that you can attain.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to that, Alicia, that I'm like, I always have to tell my husband, I'm like, rejection doesn't necessarily mean it's wrong. It just means that it's not right at the time. Right. And so you just have to like take it as a, timing is everything. I'm going to learn from this opportunity. I'm going to grow and I'm going to apply whatever I've learned to the next step or the next chapter.
Right. Absolutely. Because there's no successful person on the planet that has never failed. Every successful person has failed many, many times. And that's okay. That's how we learn. So just keep putting yourself out there. ESA needs you. So
in Brazil, we have a sentence that translates to the no you already have, so it doesn't, you don't know if you don't try. So it doesn't hurt to try.
So I'm going to turn it over to Carrie for the final poll question.
It must be finals week. I'm asking a whole lot of questions. So, so this was our final poll question. Are you more likely to run now than before this webinar? Now that you know a little bit more about it, a little bit of our panelist experiences. We got a couple people that are unsure. Want to give it some more thought. I completely understand that.
If you're unsure, no, continue to put your questions in anonymously either, just so we can help you out. If there's anything else we haven't covered today.
Yeah, so the results are in. We've got a 55% yes. We're more likely to run now. We're really happy to hear that. So we do still have 27% of people that are unsure. And so, yeah, like Melissa said, if you have some more questions, we do have a couple more minutes for some questions. And I know we talked a lot about some of the concerns, like I'm not well enough known now. Name recognition and get on that ballot, right? Even if you don't end up in the position, people see your name out there, and that's good. That's getting more name recognition. And so that's also good. I think we might have some more questions coming in, Alicia.
Let's see.
Are there some low time commitment positions? That was one of the most recent questions.
Let me take a stab at that one. And even if Rosina is still on, she can help. So, right now, what's approaching is the big summer elections. You saw the list, and some of those positions may be intimidating for you potentially. Keep in mind that here in September timeframe is when the sections and branches will have committee assignments open. And so those may be things that you might feel more comfortable with, being more on a committee versus maybe one of these elected type positions. And so what I would encourage you to do is if the branch or section you already affiliate with, go ahead and reach out to those section leadership and ask them, get a preview, what might be open here in this coming fall on a committee level assignment. So you can start kind of asking the questions, things like that. So what we're talking, what we kind of highlighted today, again, are the elected positions. There's plenty of other positions. And, I think, Adam, you said it right. When you didn't get elected and Chris helped you out, but there's so many different activities people can do. So you just please reach out. Somebody will, find a place for you to get involved.
Yeah, and I was going to add, Melissa, that anybody's more than welcome to reach out to me anytime as well, just as a resource, because never be afraid to reach out to people, because it's like somebody said, you don't know if you don't ask, you don't know if you don't try.
Right. And one of the things that I would like to circle back on the time commitment is, if you've ever heard the phrase, if you want something done, give it to a busy person. In general, I find that exactly what I have, because I am far more efficient in finishing all of my tasks if I am right on the verge of getting overwhelmed. So I find that I'm far more efficient, that if I actually don't overextend myself, I tend to waste a lot of time, I procrastinate. But if I actually have a lot of stuff to do, I crank that stuff out like no tomorrow. So don't be afraid of putting more on your plate, because you're going to be a busy person and you're going to get the job done. So just throwing that out there.
One more thing on the time, I've been volunteering with ESA for, I guess, nearly 20 years now, and I've been on lots of different committees and governing councils. And I work with Rebecca on the PI Governing Council, and everybody works as a team. And I think I am so impressed with the divide and conquer approach. And then the ESA staff is awesome. They really are there to enable us to focus on, kind of what we want to do. And they help us with some of the admin stuff, and they really, really are strong. So, I can't think of any one position at ESA where you're doing it alone. It is, no kidding, it's a team effort.
And there is a new question. If I want to get my name out there, but I would like to volunteer more within my section first, I've been a member less than 2 years. How do I find volunteer opportunities within ESA, the branch, section, national level, or any?
Honestly, I can address that a little bit, and it kind of ties into the question about finding roles that are less of a time commitment. If you do something that's associated with either the branch or the national meeting that's mostly only active during the meeting, that's one way to do something that's lower time commitment. So volunteering to moderate, judge, run the presentation upload room. And then especially at the branch level, there's opportunities for creating brand new events. So like if you've got an idea for a workshop that you want to do, approach the president and the executive and program committees and say, hey, I've got this idea. Can we execute this? So that kind of gets at two things. One, you can kind of decide how much time commitment you want to have. And two, you're basically creating a position for yourself. So you're not having to worry about not having enough name recognition.
Maybe one more myth to break. We've heard about traveling to meetings and things. So don't let travel interfere with your volunteer commitment at ESA. For instance, the Leadership Development Committee that's here today, we've been doing a lot of work online, Zoom meetings, just telephone calls, emails. So if you're hesitant to volunteer because you're not sure if you're going to get that travel approval to a meeting, don't let that stop you. There's absolutely a way to get involved without travel. So just want to make sure that myth was cleared. So we might want to go ahead and close out. We got about 3 minutes. I don't know. Do we have any last questions, Alicia, coming in? Otherwise, we'll probably start to close things out. Again, what do you think, Alicia?
I actually have not heard any additional questions or read any, so I think we're good to go.
Yeah, good. Well, just want to first thank our panelists for joining us to talk about their leadership experiences and how they got involved and learning from them. Thanking all my co-moderators for facilitating a great session. Again, as we mentioned in the beginning, the session will be recorded, posted online. So again, go back and rewatch, share with your other colleagues that may not have been able to attend. And certainly if you have any questions whatsoever, please reach out to us here. The names you saw of some of the current people serving in the roles or any of the ESA staff, we're here and glad to help you. So thanks everyone for the time and have a great afternoon.
Thank you, everyone. That was great. I really appreciate your time. Have a great afternoon.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
Thanks all. Take care.